Because flashers used to be seen, I think, as maybe sad men who were potentially, it was arguably even something that people laughed at a little bit, but no longer, and it has got very serious undertones to it. What is the psychology of the kind of people who go out and about and do that stuff, and is it a gateway to more serious crimes?
Hi, Patrick. Look, it can be a gateway to more serious crimes. It's a form of exhibitionism, very often from men who either have repressed sexuality of some sort. Well, what they're doing is they're getting their kicks, their thrill out of exposing themselves and seeing the reaction of an unsuspecting woman. So that's the thrill of it, to just have that control of that power for momentarily while they totally disarm and surprise somebody with what they do. Because it is something that people tend to do serially, it's not something someone does on occasion, it's something they get quite addicted to, that thrill, that frisson of seeing somebody alarmed by your behaviour. Of course, it can be a gateway behaviour to far worse sexual deviancy or harassment, rape, whatever it may be. So it's really troublesome. It was never funny. I mean, maybe in the retelling of a story, it was kind of amusing because you feel relatively safe. It's horrible, it's unpleasant, it's threatening, but it's not actually, there's no physical touch involved. So it's just generally unpleasant. But for the men who do it, the addiction to that, to the result, to the outcome of their behaviour is the worrying aspect of indecent exposure.
And look, do you think that this is potentially getting worse, not better? I mean, despite the fact that now there's more CCTV around than ever, and frankly, you've got much more chance of getting caught, haven't you, than if you were out flashing in the 70s or the 80s. So that doesn't appear to necessarily be putting people off. I just wonder, is it that just absolute compulsion then, where when you're in the moment, you just, well, no, I was going to say you can't help it, but obviously you can, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, it is a compulsion. And actually, you mentioned CCTV. That's more likely to encourage flashers because there's an extra, frisson of risk going on if you think you might get caught. Plus, I think we've had the whole thing about men sending indecent pics to women online. It's sort of almost become amusing, and it's fairly horrible, but, it happens to a lot of women. And I think it's all got a bit mixed up in that. So if they think they can cyber flash, then actually they can flash in real life. So yes, I imagine it probably is getting more frequent, and the fact there are, closed circuit television on them simply wouldn't put many men off. In fact, it would probably encourage.
Yeah, no, indeed. And also I think it's worthwhile here talking about the victims of flashing and how it can affect them.
Yeah, look, it's really unpleasant. You get the shock factor, it's repulsive. You're going about your business, your everyday life, and suddenly somebody on the underground or on a bus or in the street, it's the last thing you expect. And it's a really unpleasant, shocking, violated feeling. But it's not the feeling that you get from somebody physically touching you. But nevertheless, it really, messes with your head, and you can't unsee what you've just seen. All the reasons, if you said that to a flasher, they'd continue to do it because that's where they're getting their pleasure from. Over 50% of women have reported being flashed at, physically in real life, not just cyber flashing. So it's horribly commonplace, and it's just something, you have to accept that some men do, and revolting as it is, just feel grateful that there's no physical encounter. It's very hard to report. Because the man usually runs away very quickly, zips up and off he goes. So it's very hard to report it as a crime, which makes it, doesn't stop you being the victim and feeling really repulsed by it. However, it's one of those things that do not get reported for the simple reason that the perpetrator is not around for long enough to report it.